watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight, or what's left of today, I am going to be discussing Samhain's final release, and that is 1990's Final Descent. Now this was technically released a few years after Danzig had abandoned the project, and a couple years later, following his release of his first self-titled record under Danzig. So I imagine at the time, if you were into Samhain and you were into Danzig, and you thought that November Coming Fire was their final release, and then 1989 rolls around, you start to get word that this record was going to be dropped soon, and then 1990 rolls around and it actually happens and it comes out, and it's a handful of new tracks from Samhain. In addition to Danzig having just released his first self-titled Danzig record back in '88, this was probably a really good time to be a fan of Danzig. Because this record, next to November Coming Fire, this is my favorite Samhain release. And technically, just for the record, I would like to say that I know that it's pronounced Samhain or a variation thereof, and it's not Samhain. I probably neglected to point this out in the November Coming Fire discussion I had a ways back, but I know it's Samhain. I know that Samhain, is pronounced Samhain or some variation thereof. Anyways, this next to November Coming Fire is my personal favorite Samhain record because I liked Initium, but I felt that although I think that's its probably their most widely accepted and best loved release, I don't know, other than Archangel and All Murder, All Guts, All Fun, I just didn't love that record. And I really like November Coming Fire, and I absolutely love this record. I mean, you've got Night Chills on here, Descent's on here, Death in Its Arms is on here. You've got my personal favorite, The Birthing, The Hungry End is on this record. And these songs, they're, in a lot of ways, they're the absolute marriage of new and old with Danzig. So seeing as how this didn't come out until 1990, and Danzig had sort of changed his sound so radically when he transitioned into the band Danzig, this record, at times it sort of stands out or sticks out from what Danzig was currently doing as of 90. But at the same time, there's a real bluesy Danzig vibe to this entire record. So the fan base say you loved Samhain, but you weren't so wild about what he was doing with Danzig, or vice versa. This record sort of blurs the lines between both of them, and it allows... Oh, I just realized. I just fucked that up. My arm's been fucking with the table this whole time, and I was gonna mask it out. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, that if you liked if you liked Samhain over Danzig or Danzig over Samhain, there's something on this record for both sides of his fan base. Personally, I love Danzig, I love Samhain, and I love the Misfits. I feel that Samhain, of course, like most people, was kind of unsung. He should have developed that more. There could have been a fourth record or maybe even a fifth record. I know technically there is sort of a fourth one with the release of the live record, but that doesn't really count. The live record isn't bad, but the production and the recording is tolerable, but live records don't count anyways. I always felt like after Final Descent, there had to be another one, and there probably is somewhere. He's probably written dozens of additional tracks for Samhain, much like I'm sure he has for the Misfits and Danzig, of course, that have never seen the light of day. Even though with the Lost Tracks of Danzig, he did release a ton of them, I still think there's probably more somewhere in the wings waiting to be heard. It would be really rad if he would re-release all of the Samhain releases, because as of May 2022, that hasn't happened. The last time these were released all together was in that rather cheap box sets that he released, that he released a ways back, and the records were in like these cheap slip cases, and I was really disappointed with that box set. I found it too. I found it for like $100 at a record store in Toronto, and I was going to buy it, but when I asked to see it and I saw the slip cases, I just got this vibe like it was Danzig, in traditional Danzig fashion, being cheap. And once I saw the slip cases, I didn't want it anymore. And I already had each of the CDs. I have Initium and November Coming Fire as well as Final Descent. So buying them again just sort of felt redundant. Maybe had the packaging been a little better, I would have felt more motivated to do so. But even at a decent price point, like $100 for a now pretty much completely obscure box set, still a little much. I just couldn't do it. And I really wish he would re-release them all. Seeing vinyl re-releases would be absolutely awesome. And you know with re-releases comes extra tracks, because like I said, you know there are a bunch of Samhain extra tracks kicking around out there somewhere that he has not yet released. And that would be amazing, because this is an incredible way to end the Samhain era. This record is absolutely perfect. There are no bad songs. And yeah, so I think I'll leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Samhain's final album, and that is Final Descent from 1990. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And I'm really surprised that it's this cold in May. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.